Hello and welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic. Now, we have had some very interesting variants on the puzzle in the last week. Well, for ages, to be fair. Now, we do occasionally, though, like to go back to regular Sudoku, and we do get quite a lot of queries from people who are new to the channel about things like our notation system, why we use what we do, what sort of puzzles we try and solve. People often send us the what was billed once 10 years ago as the world's hardest Sudoku, and we have to explain sometimes that we aren't going to try and solve that because it's not really solvable by a human without massive bifurcation. We don't like to do that on the channel where we can avoid it. Now, I'm going to slightly take the risk with this puzzle. Brian Batchett, who identifies himself as a student at Ohio State University, sent this in. He came across it on his, it's an example of the level of difficulty that he finds very hard on his Sudoku app that came with his computer. And I mean, I think our general point here is that is why we have released our own Classic Sudoku app, because the puzzles that are computer generated that come on these apps that are 10 a penny, they can be very difficult, but they can also be very less than fun, frankly, because they just either require a wild guess as to how to solve them or some other means of getting through them or not getting through them that is just not suitable for a human. So the point of our app is that every puzzle comes with a set of hints that help you learn as you solve. And the great news about the app is it has now reached its 100 puzzles, so it is complete. And if you haven't already bought our Classic Sudoku app, or indeed any of our other 4 apps, which similarly come with hints, are definitely tested by us, guaranteed that they are human solvable. I strongly recommend them. I honestly think that they're very good. I mean, I would say that, but the feedback has been massively positive since they were launched. And as I say, that Sudoku app is now up to 100 puzzles. Its last update has been done and it is finished. So do have a go at that. And if you can play through the whole of the Cracking the Cryptic app, that's a serious feather in your cap. Now, just before I have a go at this puzzle, a mention of, we've got a few bits of merchandise going on the site, a Christmas miracle puzzle appearing, so do have a look into that. If you want to see all the items on in our merchandise, just click on one of the items and I think you can get your way to a list of all of them. Teespring and YouTube don't, in my opinion, work all that well together, but we are trying gradually to get those up and available there. Now, it's the end of the month coming up, so there should be some reward content for patrons. We're not absolutely sure what that's going to be yet, but there are a few contenders. So look out for that, patrons, and some amazing puzzles on the Discord app. And actually, we might bring those 2 things together in a way. I don't know if that's going to happen. Let's wait and see on that. Now, let's have a go at this Classic Sudoku, and as we go, I will try and explain our notation method and why we use it as well. So do feel free to have a go on the link below the puzzle, and I'm going to have a go now. So this is apparently Grandmaster level. 9s, look at these 9s. These are very helpful. They include 9s pointing hard at boxes 3 and 7. So these 2 9s are, well, that one is ruling out those 3 cells. That one's ruling out that cell, so we can put a 9 up there. 9, 9 puts a 9 down here, thanks to these as well. We must be able to finish off all the 9s in the grid now. There they go, all done. Don't have to worry about 9 again. So 8 in one of those cells. Now, I'm putting 8 in the corner where it's restricted within a box to 2 or sometimes 3 cells, just because that means that if I see something else, if at some point I get an 8 somewhere here, I'll know which of these is an 8. In fact, there it is. That's worked perfectly. 8's here. are ruling 8 only into these 2 cells, and that stops that being an 8. So we get an 8 there. So that's why we're using the notation system we use. The alternative is to put all the candidates in all the cells, and as well as being unbelievably time consuming and not really fun, in my opinion, in any way, that also is just not what Sudoku is about, really. It can, I mean, in the harder puzzles, even in the harder classics, it can be a very valid method of getting to the solution, but we prefer to only do that when we're down to a few cells. We might see it today, we might not, I don't know. But I'm carrying on marking in, I've just put 6 into those 2 cells because I was able to restrain 6 into those 2, given that that 6 rules out those in box 4. That meant that in column 3, 6 must be in one of those 2, but I've now noticed that the 7s along the bottom make this fairly straightforward, so I can put 7 there, and now that's ruled out 6 from row 9, column 3, and it can go in there. Next, where does the 5 go in the bottom row? Well, pretty clearly it must go here. We get a 6-4 pair, and now I'm putting them in the center. Because I've restricted them to just the 2 possibilities for 2 cells, I know that those cells only carry those candidate possibilities. So it helps me more to put them in the center of the cell. So we carry on. 8, 4, 6, 5, 9. Okay, well it's getting a little, oh no, 5 can go in here. Thanks to that 5 and that 5. I restricted 5s there as well. And 5 must be in one of those 2 cells in box 6. This is now a 1-4 pair, it's all that's left in the box. 8, 2 and 3 to go there, that's not clear to me. But interestingly, I think this is a 2-3 pair. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 8 can all be seen there and here, yes. So that's a very useful little offset pair in the box. The other way of getting to what is useful about that is seeing the 1-4 pair there and a 1-4 pair there. Although not resolved, that stops 1 and 4 being in those cells. So this is a 1-4 pair up here. That cell, I am going to now mark in the 2, 3 possibilities. Here we have a kind of triple where there are 2 arrangements of that set of 3, but I don't know what the correct one is yet. 3, 9, 1, 2, 8, 5, 6, 7, 5. So 3, in fact, in this column, in column 8, is down to 1 possible cell. So we can put it in there. These, that's nice. These can't be 1 because of the positions of 1 here. So that's a 2-4 pair, and that resolves our 1-4 at the bottom. 3, 9, 8. So this is now 7 and 6 because they can't be in there, and they're ruled out of this pair here. So that's 7, 6. This can't be 5 anymore, and we can fill in the 5 and 1 in the final column and complete it. 1, 3, 5 up here is a triple that has to be resolved. That 4 didn't help much. 6 at the top. Oh, that's quite nice. Now we've got a little sort of X-wing position on 6s, which means that we can rule out the 6 from column 4 and 6. So one of these must be a 6, one of these must be a 6. And therefore 6 is not in box 5, in column 5 in those 2 boxes, and the 6 in column 5 must be here. That fixes the 5 as well. We get a 4, 7 pair, 6 and 4 there. That fixes the 6 at the top. 6, 1, 2 and 8 to place in the column. I mean, this is actually a reasonably neat puzzle. Now, computers often do generate those. We're not saying they don't at all. There's a 1, 2, 3 pair that's effectively revealing that these 7s are stopping 7 being anywhere in the top row apart from here. So yeah, they can work to create quite nice puzzles. It's just that often they also don't. And once the puzzles are rated very hard, it can be because human techniques just really aren't suitable. And I'm afraid that does happen in Sudoku. Right, now we really are down to just possibilities now. In fact, 7, this is probably, that has to be a 7, yeah. We can do the 7s in the middle of the grid as well, because we've got enough help for them. That's solved all the central boxes. We really are quite close to a finish now, but maybe we're going to come to a sticking point here. Yeah, this is interesting. Let's take out the corner marks here and here. So I think this is the point where the puzzle starts putting up resistance, proper resistance. It's been quite neat up to this point, but how can we get through here without just guessing? Or is what we have to do just guessing? Let's just have a look for a minute. Yeah, okay, that works. What you put in here is going to have a significant effect on box 2 because it's going to rule 1, 2, or 3 out of all of those positions. Therefore, you have to be very careful about what you select here, for instance. And 3 is not that interesting a digit because if you ruled 3 out of here, you'd still have a difficult set here. So I'm not that interested in 3. I'd much more prefer to rule 1 or 2 out. And I've had a look, what would happen if 2 goes in here? And it's quite interesting because the 2 in this box that I'm saying would be now heavily restricted would have to go in here. The 2 down here in box 7 would now have to be here. And where are you going to put a 2 in box 8? It's impossible. That cell's been ruled out by this, and that cell's been ruled out by this. So I think this is the technique that's called simple colouring. And just the colouring of those 3 cells, as you can see, has ruled out the possibility of 2 being there. So we're going to be able to fill it in the other possible place in box 1. Now, sometimes I do what I think is simple colouring, and somebody points out in the comments that it comes under another technique category. Is this bifurcation? Well, maybe it is, because you have to kind of look ahead with a what if, but in some ways that's what all Sudoku placing is. It's elimination of possibilities that break the puzzle. That's actually what you're doing with every digit you place. I don't think of this as bifurcation, and as I've mentioned before, my guideline is kind of what can I see without filling in the numbers as full numbers to break the puzzle. And this is reasonably quick to see. If you consider a 2 there, you can see that those have to be 2s and this box 8 is broken. So that's probably going to be all we need to finish the puzzle. Let me put in the 2 there. It tidies up this whole triple in the top row, which is very nice. The 1 in there can't be there, that's not a 2. So now we've got a 1-3 pair, so we can fill in the 2 and 3 down here. That's sorted out this whole triple in box 8. We've only got the top 3 boxes to do. This is the last number in its column. That fixes box 1. And we are finished. So, excuse me. There we go. Thanks, Brian, for the puzzle and the questions. Brian had a very general question about whether human techniques will get through these app puzzles. And that is why, as I said, I recommend our own app in which we can guarantee that you will not need inhuman techniques. So thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you again soon if I get over this cough on Cracking the Cryptic. Bye for now.